observing and studying you from the very first encounter. They read you like an open book, noting every detail, from your strengths to your vulnerabilities, your dreams to your fears. All of this serves their ultimate purpose, to make you the perfect prey, easily manipulated and controlled. You might wonder why we're delving so deeply into the love-bombing tactics of narcissists. The answer is simple, because it's crucial to understand. I don't want you to repeat the mistakes of the past. Even if you've escaped a toxic relationship, what if you encounter another narcissist in the future? Narcissists are the speed racers of love, rushing everything from the initial impression to serious commitments. Don't be surprised if they suddenly bring up marriage, children, or living together, even though you've only just met. Their goal is to hypnotize you with their carefully concocted love potion, making you lose your rationality before you can see their true nature. Don't get caught up in their whirlwind. True love is not a race. It's a slow, deliberate journey where two souls meet, understand and connect deeply. Take your time to observe, understand and evaluate the true character of the person behind the perfect mask. Always listen to the voice of reason and don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Set clear boundaries from the start to protect yourself and avoid unnecessary hurt. Be bold in saying no to any requests that make you uncomfortable or feel violated. Don't hesitate to ask questions about their past, especially how they've treated loved ones before. The past often reflects the future. The way they treated their exes might be how they'll treat you. Do you understand? Don't rush into giving your heart to anyone, no matter how perfect they seem. Love bombing is a calculated strategy, meticulated designed to ensnare their prey. Only with a clear mind and a guarded heart can you recognize the traps and shield yourself from deep emotional wounds. Love slowly, mindfully, and maturely. True love will find its way to those who cherish themselves and patiently wait. After the breakup, do narcissists miss you? Do they feel regret for the emotional wounds they've inflicted? The answer may shock you. They don't care about you in the way you imagine. Memories of you fade like passing clouds, leaving no meaningful imprint on their shallow minds. If they do remember you, it's only in terms of the function you served, a devoted spy who satisfied their insatiable ego. Narcissists are like cunning parasites, clinging to and draining your emotional energy. They don't remember you. They don't even remember you. Period. You might argue, but when I left, they desperately tried to win me back. Don't be fooled. That was just an act. A web of lies meant to manipulate and drag you back under their control. Don't believe me. Let me reveal the truth. Their regret isn't born from the heart, nor is it for the loss of a soul who once shared love with them. It's the frustration of losing a project they meticulously built. They don't mourn your absence. They mourn the loss of their supply, someone they could manipulate, dominate, and exploit. Narcissists are like skilled hunters. From the beginning, they've carefully stalked, studied, and observed you, their chosen prey. Think back to the early days when you met them. How dazzling was the perfect mask they wore. They appeared flawless and captivating, with honeyed words and seemingly romantic gestures, unexpected bouquets of flowers, luxurious dinners, and extravagant gifts. They stood outside your house for hours just to catch a glimpse of you. When you asked why, their answer played like a scene from a romance movie. I just couldn't bear not seeing you. He constructed a dreamy world where you were the princess and he was the ideal prince. You were immersed in a fairy tale that seemed never-ending, where happiness was the only reality. But what's the truth? He doesn't regret losing you, a lover, a kindred soul, but laments losing a tool that served his interests. You might think, if it's not me, he'll just find someone else. Yes, he might, but that means starting over. He would have to put the mask back on, restart the process of seeking, seducing, and building trust with a new person, an effort that takes time and energy. Keeping you around to continue exploiting you is always the easier option. The regret isn't about losing love, it's about losing an efficient servant, a financial provider, or a source of endless attention. They don't miss you, they miss what you brought to the table. When they sense you pulling away, they might quickly feign remorse. Long, drawn-out messages, unexpected midnight calls, or heartfelt letters filled with promises. I was wrong. I miss you. I'll change for you. But stay alert. Don't let these words soften your resolve. That regret doesn't stem from love, but from losing control. Their promises are merely bait to pull you back. Once you agree, once you return, the mask will drop immediately, and the cycle of control, exploitation, and harm will begin anew. Narcissists don't change. The tears, the begging, the promises, they're all lies. If you let your guard down and go back, you'll only throw yourself back into the circle of pain. Be strong and resolute. Don't let yourself be deceived again. Every step you take away from them is a step closer to reclaiming your freedom, peace, and self-worth. Remember, you deserve real love, not a relationship built on manipulation and calculation. Let go to set yourself free. Peace and happiness await you ahead, in a place where narcissists have no power over you. When a relationship ends, narcissists never take responsibility for the breakup. Whether they initiated the split or were rejected, they always place the blame on the other person. The only thing they care about is maintaining the positive image they've painstakingly built in the eyes of others. Narcissists often weave stories to justify themselves, portraying themselves as innocent victims to outsiders. They'll claim they gave everything, that they tried their best to preserve the relationship, but you never appreciated them. If you were the one to end things, they might spread rumors that you were unfaithful, emotionally unstable, or even untrustworthy. These stories serve not only to protect their image, but also to manipulate you and those around you, keeping you trapped in a web of doubt and confusion. The truth is, even if they appeared to try to win you back, it wasn't out of love. It was to feed their distorted ego. They can't tolerate losing their prey after having controlled it for so long. Your departure threatens their power and status, something they're unwilling to relinquish. For them, letting go is never easy, because it means admitting failure, a blow their inflated ego cannot accept. If they've found a new supply, you might notice them vanishing from your life in a strange way. They block you on all communication channels, from social media to messaging apps. They retreat as if you never existed, leaving you adrift with countless unanswered questions. Why did this happen? What went wrong? Then one day, just when you've started to heal, they reappear as if nothing happened. With a gentle smile and sweet words, they draw you back in, resuming the relationship from where they left off. They'll offer countless justifications for their disappearance. I was going through a tough time, or I needed space to think. And because you still have feelings for them, you might forgive them, ignoring the glaring lack of transparency. You convince yourself they deserve another chance. But what happens next? The cycle begins again. They disappear once more, leaving you with pain, confusion, and unanswered questions. They trap you in a game of cat and mouse, keeping you in a state of uncertainty. Narcissists will never give you clarity because ambiguity is their most effective tool of manipulation. You'll constantly question your position in the relationship, and this gives them the upper hand. Be strong and resolute. Don't let doubt or false hope keep you ensnared in their grip. Remember, you deserve a healthy relationship where you're loved and respected for who you are, not treated as someone's project. Clarity and determination will be your keys to breaking free from this painful cycle so you can find true peace and happiness in your life. Perhaps in fleeting moments, narcissists feel something akin to guilt or remorse, but the harsh truth is these feelings are brief and quickly suppressed by their distorted self-defense mechanisms. As masters of psychological manipulation, they don't just avoid accountability, they skillfully turn all blame onto you. They'll make cutting remarks disguised as innocent comments, wielding sharp words like daggers. If only you hadn't done that, or we were never meant to be together. These statements aren't meant to be together. These statements aren't meant to resolve or explain, but to shift blame and evade responsibility. To them, you are the root of all problems, the reason for their wrongdoings. This is not just a form of evasion, but also a subtle manipulation tactic to keep you under their control. Narcissists don't feel regret in the way we understand regret. Instead of confronting their mistakes, they distort reality to protect their oversized ego. Especially when you break the silence and reach out to them after a breakup, any sense of guilt they might have felt vanishes completely. In their warped mindset, your return isn't an opportunity to fix what went wrong, but proof that they were never wrong. To them, your return is an implicit acknowledgement of their correctness, a victory. This reinforces their deluded belief that they don't need to change and that they hold the power in the relationship. The narcissist's pride is not just an impenetrable wall separating them from reality, but also a prison that traps them within themselves. Admitting fault, even once, is akin to tearing down that wall and exposing what they fear most: shame and vulnerability. Narcissists are terrified of shame to the point that they can't face it. For them, shame isn't a fleeting emotion, but a monster gnawing at their soul, forcing them deeper into their prideful shell. They lack the ability to process this feeling healthily. Instead of taking responsibility, they choose denial, blame shifting, and creating another facade to protect their ego. Their arrogance and distorted sense of self-worth not only alienate them from others, but also trap them in their own toxic cycle. They can't sincerely apologize or admit fault because that would mean accepting their imperfection, a truth they cannot bear. Narcissists live in a loop of self-deception and manipulation. They repeat the same behaviors, refusing to confront their flaws or improve themselves. If you continue to engage with them, you'll only find yourself drawn deeper into this harmful cycle. Remember, their regret is never truly about you or what they've done. It's just part of their strategy to keep you around, maintain their control, and perpetuate their game. Don't let yourself fall into the trap again. Stay vigilant and maintain your distance. It's not that you're not good enough, it's that they're incapable of loving in a healthy way. True freedom comes from letting go, rejecting manipulation, and focusing on your own healing. You deserve a genuine relationship, not a cycle of manipulation and pain. To shield yourself from toxic relationships and protect your vulnerable heart, you need to arm yourself with the tools to identify and defend against such dynamics now. Here are some essential tips I want to share. Remember them well. Many of us, whether knowingly or not, get pulled into the inescapable whirlwind of a narcissistic drama. In these situations, we often justify our circumstances with the familiar refrain, "They made me this way." But the reality is quite different. It's often our own decision to accept the role we play in their drama. Through working with countless victims of narcissistic relationships, I've seen many lives slowly cut off from family, friends, and other critical support systems. To these individuals, the narcissistic partner becomes their entire universe, their everything, making all else fade into insignificance. Sometimes they sense something is wrong, that there's an underlying problem in the relationship. But a lack of skills to deal with the narcissist's cunning manipulations, coupled with growing emotional dependency, keeps them trapped. They stay, clinging to the faint hope that one day everything will change, that the narcissist will recognize their true worth. All of us long to be loved, cherished, and chosen. It's a natural right, something every person deserves. Yet, when you love a narcissist, this desire becomes a chain that binds you to a relationship filled with pain and loss. You stay, not out of love, but out of fear that standing up for yourself will lead to abandonment. You try, sacrifice, even change yourself, clinging to the faint hope that one day they'll love and value you as you've always dreamed. But you've forgotten something important. Narcissists are incapable of true love. They only know how to take, manipulate, and control. You may stay because you feel guilty, thinking that leaving means abandoning them, but the truth is, their selfish actions, indifference, and hurtful words and behaviors have already pushed you away. Or perhaps, deep down, you stay because you're trying to heal old wounds from the past. You believe that by fixing this relationship, you will find inner peace. But this is a grave mistake. You cannot heal yourself in the environment that caused your pain. Narcissists are like emotional black holes, constantly draining your energy and joy. They never stop manipulating or controlling, dragging you deeper into the abyss of resentment and suffering they've created. The kinder you are, the more they destroy. The happier you are, the more they strive to prove you don't deserve happiness. Don't deceive yourself into thinking your love can save them. You are not a cure, nor are you their therapist. Narcissists are drowning in the mire of their own making, and instead of saving themselves, they'll drag you down to join them in their misery. A relationship with a narcissist is like a chronic illness. It silently erodes your physical and mental health, leaving you constantly stressed and anxious. You live in an endless battlefield where your body and mind are slowly drained. Emotional outbursts, psychological turmoil, or even physical illness are your body's warning signs. Listen to your body and soul. Do not continue enduring a toxic relationship. Be courageous and step out to reclaim the freedom, peace, and happiness that are inherently yours. Never forget that you deserve to be loved in the healthiest way by people who genuinely value you. Only by leaving the cycle of pain can you truly heal and embark on a new, hopeful life. Even if you feel bound by life's pressures, responsibilities shared with children, or any other reasons keeping you from leaving, remember that you always have the right to protect yourself. You have the right to build a sanctuary of peace within your soul, a private space where you can breathe, rest, and begin healing the wounds inflicted by life or a toxic relationship. This is the place where you rediscover yourself, where exhaustion retreats and positive energy begins to renew. Narcissists will never let go of their prey easily. Once you start stepping out of their control, they will deploy every possible tactic to pull you back into their stage. A world where they are the self-appointed director and you are merely a puppet, manipulated at their whim. Their methods are far from simple. They may attack you on social media, spreading distorted stories to tarnish your reputation. They may exploit mutual friends, sugarcoat their words, or feign remorse to deliver messages aimed at shaking your resolve. They may cry, apologize, and promise to change, convincing you they'll become the person you've always hoped for, but it's all an act. Do not let yourself be deceived by their performance. Seemingly sincere apologies or promises of transformation are nothing more than traps designed to lure you back into their web. Narcissists don't truly feel regret, nor do they ever intend to change their nature. These are calculated performances crafted to maintain their control over you. During such times, you need to become a steadfast rock in a stormy sea. Learn to confront their tactics with silence and unwavering resolve. Remember, by not responding and refusing to engage in their games, you weaken the power they seek to hold over you. Silence is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of self-retrieval. Do not let their harsh words, manipulative tactics, or dramatic acts sway your determination. Be your own guiding light, illuminating your path out of the darkness of a toxic relationship. When you maintain inner strength and resolute action, you're protecting yourself from further harm and reclaiming your true freedom. This inner resolve is your most potent talisman against their schemes and manipulations. Believe that you deserve a better life, a life unshackled from anyone or anything that causes you harm. Never hope to change a narcissist, and don't deceive yourself into thinking they'll change for you. Loving someone like that is akin to playing an endless game of chasing illusions, a happy ending that exists only in fantasies. Meanwhile, they view you as a pawn in their power games, a puppet to fulfill their need for control, with no regard for your feelings or aspirations. One of the most dangerous traps in loving a narcissist is hope. You place your entire heart in the belief that one day they'll recognize your worth, change, and become the person you've dreamed of. But the harsh truth is that narcissists lack the capacity for empathy or genuine understanding. They don't change, and they certainly won't do so for anyone. The hope you invest in them only serves to prolong your dependence on someone incapable of loving you the way you deserve. Instead of trying to explain, argue, or convince them, stop. Don't waste your time and energy on meaningless debates. Your logic may be sound and your evidence undeniable, but if it challenges their distorted ego, they will reject it outright. They don't seek the truth, they only seek to win. Your efforts, rather than bringing about change, will only fuel their sick, manipulative games. Stay clear-headed. The best thing you can do is not to fix them, but to protect yourself. Set clear boundaries, establish a safe distance, and avoid being drawn into their games. When they attempt to provoke arguments, respond briefly and neutrally, with statements like, "I respect your opinion," or "I understand how you feel." No explanations, no justifications. Most importantly, stop seeking validation from someone incapable of giving it. Focus on yourself instead. Find joy and meaning in your own efforts and inner growth. That is the true key to reclaiming your strength, maintaining your composure, and ultimately escaping the toxic cycle a narcissist has created. Remember, your happiness isn't in anyone else's hands. It belongs solely to you. When you choose to walk away and reclaim your happiness, prepare for the narcissist's retaliatory attacks. Their responses will depend on your circumstances and your level of determination, but their actions will typically follow a predictable pattern, driven by their distorted ego. When you have the courage to break free from a narcissist's control, brace yourself for a storm of resistance. They will not let you go easily, because losing control over you threatens the fragile ego they've worked so hard to protect. Their first tactic, one of their most common, is harsh accusations and stormy rage, all aimed at crushing your resolve, trampling your self-esteem, and dragging you back to a submissive role. They might initiate seemingly harmless debates, ranging from trivial daily matters to significant issues. But don't be fooled. Their goal isn't to resolve problems or uncover truths. They aim to assert their superior ego, impose their opinions, and leave you feeling disoriented and worn down. These arguments aren't about right or wrong. They're tools to solidify their power and gradually strip away your voice. Recognize the cycle and step out of it. Hold firm in your boundaries. Resist their manipulative tactics and prioritize your well-being. You are stronger than their games, and a life filled with peace, love, and freedom is within your reach. It begins with a single, resolute step, letting go of what hurts and choosing what heals. In the arena of arguments with a narcissist will use every tactic to win. They won't hesitate to use fallacies, distort the truth, twist concepts, or even attack you personally with sharp, hurtful insults. They'll interrupt you constantly, leaving no room for you to fully express your thoughts. When you try to present clear reasoning or evidence, they'll stubbornly repeat their irrational points, making you feel not only exhausted, but as though you're speaking to an unresponsive wall. This psychological assault goes beyond destabilizing your calm. It directly targets your self-esteem and confidence. Over time, you may feel stuck, helpless, and even start doubting things you once believed to be true. They aim to make you feel wrong, inadequate, and worthless, even though the reality is far from that. This creates a distorted logic spiral, trapping you in a maze with no apparent exit. Do not give in to these destructive games. Recognize that every effort to argue with them is futile because they're not seeking truth or resolution. The only way to escape their control is to maintain a clear mind, set firm boundaries, and refuse to engage in their staged arguments. Remember, you don't need to prove your worth to anyone, especially not to a narcissist who will never truly listen or understand you. When verbal attacks fail, a narcissist will quickly switch strategies, adopting cold silence or disappearing suddenly. Among their arsenal of manipulative tools, silence is a sharp weapon, leaving no visible scars but inflicting deep emotional pain. If you've decided to break free, they will wield this weapon ruthlessly to pull you back into their toxic cycle. If you still harbor feelings for them, their silence can be a devastating psychological blow. It may leave you confused, drowning in a sea of doubt and insecurity. Your mind becomes filled with unanswered questions. What are they thinking? Did I do something wrong? Do they still love me? The narcissist understands that this ambiguity will torment you, creating a fragile emotional state that leaves you vulnerable. Their silence isn't merely a form of punishment, it's a calculated move to make you second-guess yourself, feel guilty, and eventually doubt your decision to leave. They hope this silence will push you to the point of guilt, loneliness, and despair, where you can no longer endure it. At that point, you might reach out to them, seeking answers or even begging for forgiveness. Their ultimate goal is for you to lower yourself, return to the toxic relationship, and resume your role as their puppet. You need to understand that this is just another manipulative tactic in the narcissist's carefully orchestrated game. Their silence isn't a sign of suffering or remorse, as you might be tempted to believe, but another method of control and a test of your resolve. Don't be fooled by their calm exterior. In reality, they're using silence to stir up negative emotions within you, pulling you back into the web of control they've spun. You have the strength to break free from this toxic game. Instead of letting their silence consume you, treat it as a valuable opportunity to reflect and rediscover yourself. Trust your decisions and don't allow anyone, especially someone who doesn't respect you, to manipulate your emotions. Their silence is not the end. It's a chance for you to write a new chapter in your life, one where you find true freedom and happiness. Use this time to care for yourself, rebuild your inner strength, and focus on what brings you joy and fulfillment. Moving beyond their silence, you'll realize that they are not the center of your universe, and that you deserve a healthier relationship where you're truly loved and respected. This is your chance to close the painful chapters of the past and begin a new journey of self-discovery, happiness, and peace. On the narcissist's psychological stage, projection is one of their most insidious and dangerous tools. Like a magician's sleight of hand, they distort reality and turn you into a mirror that reflects all the negativity they refuse to acknowledge within themselves. This isn't merely a standard defense mechanism, but a calculated tool for manipulation, blame-shifting, and maintaining control. The concept of projection was introduced by Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis. According to Freud, projection is a defense mechanism where individuals attribute unwanted feelings, thoughts, or desires to someone else to reduce internal conflict. For example, someone feeling jealous but unwilling to admit it might accuse another of jealousy. However, in narcissists, projection goes beyond a mere psychological reaction. According to psychologist Carol McBride, author of Will I Ever Be Good Enough?, narcissists weaponize projection to manipulate, blame, and dominate those around them. Imagine standing in front of a mirror that doesn't reflect your true self, but instead projects all the flaws, mistakes, and guilt that don't belong to you. Narcissists use you as a distorted mirror to offload their own inner darkness, their fears, errors, and insecurities onto you. This not only helps them avoid confronting their flaws, but also makes you the target of their anger and disdain. According to Melanie Klein, a renowned psychoanalyst, projection often works alongside another defense mechanism called splitting, where narcissists divide the world into extremes, perfectly good or utterly bad. In this mindset, all negativity is attributed to you, while they cast themselves as either flawless or the pitiable victim. As the target of projection, the narcissist will portray you as the source of all problems. They'll craft a dramatic narrative where they play the weak, victimized role, supposedly hurt or mistreated by you. Meanwhile, you're painted as the villain, selfish, flawed, and always in the wrong. This not only makes you feel guilty, but also causes you to doubt yourself, giving them the upper hand to tighten their grip of control. Breaking free from such dynamics requires recognizing these manipulations for what they are and refusing to internalize the distorted image they painted of you. It's not your reflection, it's theirs. Stand firm, reclaim your identity, and reject their attempts to drag you back into the toxic cycle. You are worth far more than being a pawn in someone else's game of control. Psychologist Craig Malkin, author of Rethinking Narcissism, explains that narcissists use projection to construct a perfect image of themselves while offloading all their weaknesses, insecurities, and failures onto others. This allows them to maintain their fragile ego, as admitting faults would be a direct threat to their sense of self. Being caught in the whirlwind of a narcissist's projection can leave you confused and emotionally drained. No matter how clear or rational your explanations and evidence are, they will always fall on deaf ears because the narcissist isn't interested in the truth. You may feel like a puppet, manipulated and unable to distinguish right from wrong, eventually doubting your own worth. The most crucial step is recognizing the true nature of projection and refusing to accept the role they impose on you. Remember, you are not what they say you are. Establish clear boundaries and refuse to engage in meaningless arguments. Instead of trying to prove the truth, stay calm and focus on building your self-esteem and trust in yourself. Research by psychologist Kristin Neff, a pioneer in self-compassion, shows that treating yourself with kindness and understanding can significantly aid recovery from emotional manipulation. Prioritize strengthening your inner resilience, seeking support from loved ones, or consulting professionals if necessary. A narcissist may try to turn you into a distorted mirror, but you have the right to reject their view of you. The truth lies within you, and only by breaking free from their manipulation can you rediscover your authentic self and build a healthy, liberated, and happy life. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, pause and reflect on this crucial truth. You are not to blame. There is nothing in your actions or nature that warrants the manipulation, blame, or belittlement inflicted by a narcissist. Do not let them convince you that you are the root of all problems. That is merely a tool they use to maintain control, trap you in a toxic relationship, and obscure your true value. You deserve happiness. You deserve genuine love. You deserve a life of freedom, free from anyone's control. If you feel trapped in a whirlwind of emotional pain, remember, this is not forever. You have the power to change your situation, and that change doesn't need to be immediate or grand. Each small step, a conversation with a trusted friend, a book on healing, or even a few moments of quiet self-reflection can gradually loosen the chains a narcissist has placed on you. See your journey out of this relationship not just as leaving, but as saving your soul. Nothing is more important than your peace and safety. No relationship, whether romantic, familial, or platonic, is worth sacrificing your mental health, self-esteem, or dignity. Protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's your fundamental right to live a whole and fulfilling life, free from manipulation or the endless cycle of hope and fulfillment created by a narcissist. They may promise to change, make grand declarations of love, or even shed tears of regret. But the harsh reality is, they do not change. They do not change because they do not see the need to. Psychological studies indicate that narcissists often cannot confront their fragile ego, instead blaming others to avoid responsibility. Their promises, tears, and apologies are calculated tactics to lure you back into their web of control. A narcissist doesn't take over your life overnight. They build control incrementally, chipping away at your confidence and self-esteem bit by bit. Every criticism, every time they dismiss your feelings, every instance of blame is part of a calculated strategy to make you feel small, unworthy, and entirely dependent on them. This doesn't require physical violence. It's a form of covert emotional abuse that erodes you from the inside out, leaving you unable to recognize yourself. If you feel exhausted, give yourself permission to rest. Seek support from trusted friends, professionals, or draw on your inner strength. Every small step forward is a step toward freedom. And when you leave a narcissist, you're not just escaping a toxic relationship, you're reclaiming yourself and your belief that you deserve love and respect. Your life is not a stage for someone else's performance. Choose to be yourself and have the courage to walk away from anything that causes you harm. Happiness awaits you beyond the walls of control and pain. Step forward and rediscover the light you deserve. Leaving a narcissist is like escaping a mental maze filled with dangerous traps. You entered this maze with trust and hope, believing you were on a path to happiness. But the deeper you ventured, the more trapped you became, ensnared by sweet words and harsh truths. In this maze, every step seemed to take you further from yourself, lost in a blur of lies and reality. Your mind was scrambled, your heart scarred, not by anyone else, but by the very person you loved and trusted. A narcissist cannot love you the way you deserve. They don't see you as an independent person with your own emotions, dreams, and value. To them, you're a tool to serve their insatiable ego. Every act of care, every word of love from them is rarely genuine. It's often a calculated move to satisfy their own needs, to reinforce the perfect image they've crafted for themselves and others. Their care isn't for you, but for how you make them feel special, powerful, and admired. You are not alone, and you are not powerless. Step by step, you can reclaim your life. You deserve a relationship where love is real, respect is mutual, and happiness is shared. Be brave, let go, and embrace the life waiting for you outside the shadows of manipulation and control. Understanding this truth is the first step toward freeing yourself, but it's not an easy step. Your mind may still be tied to the beautiful memories, the fleeting moments when you believed your love was real. You recall the smiles, the hugs, and the promises that seemed so genuine. However, remember this: loving a narcissist is like trying to fill a bottomless cup. The more you give, the more drained you become, and eventually there's nothing left for yourself. Freeing yourself isn't just about physical separation. It's a journey of healing your soul, rebuilding your self-esteem, and regaining the confidence you've lost. You need time to understand that your worth isn't dependent on anyone, especially not someone who only takes and never gives. This is a journey to learn how to love yourself, to prioritize your needs over empty promises, and to believe that you deserve true love, a love free from control, manipulation, or conditions. Imagine leaving this maze not just as an escape, but as stepping into the light. Each step forward is a powerful declaration that you refuse to be defined by the pain they've caused. When you walk out of the maze, you leave behind not just a toxic relationship, but reclaim control of your life. Courage and self-belief will guide you toward a new path, a path leading to genuine happiness. This happiness isn't contingent on whether or not you have a partner by your side. It comes from within, from freedom, peace, and the ability to value yourself. You don't need anyone else to complete you. You are already whole. On your journey toward happiness, you'll realize that the most deserving person of your love is yourself. If you're serious about escaping the cycle of pain and manipulation, take these 3 important steps with determination and clarity. Step 1. Proactively end the relationship. Don't wait until things become unbearable or until they decide to leave first. Instead, take the brave step to end the relationship yourself while you still have the strength to do so, even if the relationship seems stable or they're at their best behavior. Why is this important? Proactively ending the relationship not only helps you regain control, but also weakens their sense of power. Narcissists thrive on control, and leaving while they believe they're in charge deals a significant blow to their ego. Ending the relationship during a period of calm also gives you psychological strength. You no longer feel like the rejected one. Instead, you're in control of your life. This builds your confidence and serves as a stepping stone to moving forward, rather than sinking into feelings of helplessness and self-blame. Be prepared, however, as they won't let you go easily. Narcissists despise losing power and control, so they will use every tactic, from promises to change, to blaming you, or even displaying emotional distress to pull you back in. This leads to the next step. Step 2. Stay firm in your decision. When you leave, remember that a narcissist won't easily accept the reality that you've escaped their control. This is when they'll deploy every psychological manipulation tactic they have. They might promise you the sweetest things, express remorse, and beg for another chance. Conversely, they might resort to blame, criticism, or even threats to make you feel guilty or afraid. Phrases like, "I can't live without you," or "this is all your fault," are classic strategies designed to stir guilt or rekindle hope. Their goal isn't to repair the relationship, but to restore you to a submissive role where they can continue to control you. This is the moment where you must remain resolute. Set clear boundaries and remind yourself, their promises and regrets are tools of manipulation, not genuine change. Narcissists don't change because they don't acknowledge or won't admit that they need to. Keep the reasons for leaving at the forefront of your mind and don't let their words or actions shake your resolve. Whenever you feel weak, think of the pain you've endured and visualize a future where you live in freedom and peace. Step 3. Cut off all contact completely. This may be the hardest step, but it's also the most crucial. Once you've decided to leave, the first thing you need to do is sever all forms of contact with them. Delete their phone number, block them on social media, and avoid any opportunities for face-to-face encounters. This will not only prevent them from continuing to manipulate you, but also give you the time and space to heal. This severance must be absolute. Don't leave any doors open for them to re-enter your life. This applies not just to them, but also to people around them, such as mutual friends or family members. These individuals, whether knowingly or unknowingly, can act as intermediaries and allow the narcissist to continue influencing you. Remember, cutting off contact isn't an act of hatred or revenge. It's a way to protect yourself. Narcissists rarely give up their need for control, and if you leave even the slightest gap, they'll exploit it to pull you back into the old cycle. The final step: heal and rebuild your life. Leaving a narcissist is a challenging journey, but what matters is that you're heading in the right direction toward freedom and peace. Once you've cut off contact, it's time to focus on healing your soul. Spend time on yourself, engage in activities you enjoy, and seek support from friends, family, or therapists. View your decision as a significant milestone, a chance to build a new life, one where you're not controlled, manipulated, or diminished. You deserve a love that is genuine, built on understanding, empathy, and respect, not control or power. Remind yourself that a brighter future lies ahead. The path to true happiness may not be easy, but it always begins with one decisive choice: choosing yourself. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a profound message, something you need to remember as you embark on your healing journey. If your ex-partner is a narcissist, know that you are not alone, and you don't have to blame yourself for the pain you've endured. Being in a relationship with a narcissist isn't just an emotional challenge, it's a difficult journey of reclaiming control over your life and self-worth. They may have made you feel small, inadequate, or even convinced you that every mistake was your fault. But the truth is, you are not to blame. Their manipulation, blame-shifting, and distortion of reality aren't because you're not good enough, but because this is how they maintain control and protect their fragile ego. Leaving a narcissist can feel like escaping a maze full of pain, but remember this: every step you take is worth it. It's not just about physical separation, it's about emotional and spiritual freedom. This is your journey to heal, to realize that your worth doesn't lie in anyone else's hands. You deserve to be loved genuinely and wholeheartedly, not used as a tool for someone else's ego. Take the time to love yourself and rebuild your life the way you want it to be. Each day, Little by little, you are moving closer to the best version of yourself, a version that is no longer swayed by toxic words or endless cycles of manipulation. And remember, this journey isn't just about breaking free. It's a declaration. You chose yourself. Finally, always keep this in mind. True happiness doesn't come from someone else. It starts within you. Every wound will heal, every pain will fade, and a brighter path awaits you ahead. Walk forward with courage and believe that you're doing the right thing, because you deserve a better, freer, and more loving life. Thank you for taking the time to listen. If this message resonates with you, share it with others who might need a bit of motivation on their journey. And don't forget, you are not alone. There's an entire community here ready to support you. Stay strong, keep moving forward, and live for yourself.